This is the Chuck Smith Show on Cape Atlantic Live, giving you the latest news on all things Mainland Regional Football. Now here's your host, Nick Kosko, and Mustangs head coach, Chuck Smith.
Well, everybody, it's the Chuck Smith Show right here on Cape Atlantic Live. Nick Kosko alongside Mainland head coach Chuck Smith. We are entering the home stretch, really, of the regular season here in New Jersey high school football in 2023. Calendar has officially turned to October. And, Coach, you guys are coming off a rare Monday game here in high school football. Of course, the delay due to the inclement weather back on Friday. You guys coming off the big win over Bridgeton, 6-0 on the season right now. So I got to imagine this was a weird week now to prep ahead for Absegami on Friday.
Yeah, it was kind of like you're so used to in football being in a schedule. You know, Monday's Monday, Tuesday's Tuesday, and you have your routine, and it's hard, us as football players and coaches, to break that routine because it really throws you out of sorts. And, when the game was postponed on Friday, and then we had a, practice Saturday and Sunday, we practiced because we never have ever practiced on a Sunday before because of the game Monday. And then all of a sudden, you got Monday, and then you're getting out of school early because you got to get out on the field because the game was at 3:00. So, the kids got out of school at 12:30, and we were on the field at 1:30 while school's still in session, and we're out there. So it was kind of surreal that way. And then, you get through the game, and then next thing you know, you can't have you're used to playing Friday night and having Saturday, Sunday kind of, I don't want to say off, but you kind of, you come in, you work out, you watch film, you have Sunday off. Monday's kind of a kickback day, more of a walkthrough type of day. So you kind of have a 3-day buffer, and all of a sudden we're turning around and we're out on the field again Tuesday, Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been I told the kids, man, this is going to be like slam packed, condensed real fast. And that's how it's been, but we, of course we had an alter practice this week just because of playing on Monday.
Yeah, but I'm actually about to ask about your altering practice on Tuesday. So when you go for your Tuesday practice, normally that's when you guys, I guess, start ramping up a little bit. You'll get a little more contact and you taper off before Friday. But, I mean, did you guys watch film, hit the weights, and then go right on the practice field on Tuesday? Or what did you guys do the day after the game?
Our normal routine on a Monday is, usually that's a JV game. And we go in, we watch film. Varsity will watch film. We'll go out on the field. We'll do a walkthrough on offense and defense, preliminary game plan stuff. And then the team will go in and lift. The varsity will go in and lift. And then the coaches meet that night and finalize the game plan. And Tuesday we hit the floor running. And Tuesdays are primarily our offensive day, and Wednesday's more of a defensive day. So this past week, what we did was on Tuesday, we came in, we watched film. The JVs went into the weight room, lifted. Varsity watched film of Absegami. And then we went out on the field. We kind of had like a more of a laid back practice. Not so laid back, but, we couldn't really come in and go hitting and a lot more thud. Want more of like on air and on bags and stuff like that.
Yeah, no doubt. You want to actually, limit the contact considering you guys are playing 2 games in 5 days. So looking back on this game, I almost want to say Friday, but of course it was just Monday. And of course we're recording this on a Wednesday night. So just 2 days ago, you guys were already back in game action. So a 58-0 win over Bridgeton to get to 6-0 on the season. You guys are officially now, I believe it's now number 2 overall according to the UPR rankings in South Jersey Group 4. Millville had another big win, so they are number 1 right now. So it seems like you 2 teams right now are chasing for that top spot. So just real quick on that, is that in the back of your mind knowing that you need X, Y, and Z type of results to keep chasing for that top spot? Or at this point, it's like, just see where it happens?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. We just got to worry about ourselves and take care of business. What happens outside of us is beyond our control, and it'll all shake out. There's, 3 more games to play. A lot's going to happen. I know there's some big games that some of these other teams that are right in the mix have upcoming also. So, we pray to God that we just stay in the top and have a couple home games at least, and then if we can stay at a 1 or 2 or 3, so be it. That's our goal, is try to finish as high as we can. But we just got to worry about ourselves when, take it one game at a time. And when we're done with game number 9, then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's look at a couple highlights from Monday's action, starting out with Stephen Ordilli. He had a big touchdown to go up 14-0. So just to break down this play for me right here, a simple little handoff toss out to the right side. He just took the sideline and just went out.
This is just a little toss play to the right side, football 101 here. But the thing that's great about this is you can see the entourage of green jerseys down the side, and that's primarily what we try to do with that. And Steve is just one of those types of players that he gets that pitch and he just looks for it and sees the seam. He has that quick burst of energy to get out there and our team does a good job of blocking on the perimeter between Cohen Cook and Rocco DiBiaso, and of course, Hunter Watson, and I think Colt Russo was in on that play. It's a simple football play, and we have a lot, obviously, we're running that spread wing T offense. So there's some things that go one way and things that go the other way. So, it's just one of those things that you look up and see what is the defense giving you at the time. And, you try to attack it to the best of your abilities. And that play just happened to work out right there. It was just great blocking on the perimeter by the team.
Yeah, I think I even said that on the broadcast. He had a convoy in front of him. So, obviously, once again, just great execution by your offense. Let's take a look at another highlight, little back-to-back right here for John Franchini. Had 2 touchdown passes in that game on a Monday. The passing game opened back up for you guys. What'd you see right here to Jamie Tyson?
Yeah, this was just something we thought we might be able to hit a slant on them just by their alignment in the secondary. And actually, the defensive back did a great job of taking away the slant right at the snap of the football. He jumped inside, got inside position on Jamie, and Jamie wound up going around him, which we do not coach, believe me. And he made a great catch. It was a great throw by Franchini. And then Jamie just made a nice little move on the safety to run it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, it seemed like Tyson was able just to get free all day long. And again, you guys dominated on the ground. So not much need for a passing game, but you guys obviously opened up to get your quarterback some more work on Monday. And let's take a look at the next one. It's a touchdown pass to a guy out of the backfield. Rocco DiBiaso made a nice play, making this catch in stride. He got wide open on this play.
Yeah, this is just a simple waggle play. And, quarterback made a great read on the safety. And like you said, the post was wide open over top, and John threw another great football there. And Rocco did a nice job of running underneath of it also. That ball was in the air, and I wasn't sure if he was actually going to catch it or not, but he ran underneath of it. And I thought one of the things going into this game, we knew we had to get better at throwing the ball, get more efficient at throwing the football. And, we came in this game looking to do that, even though we only threw, I think, 5 passes in the game. But our quarterback was spot on, except for the first play the ball kind of slipped out of his hand on a hitch play. But the rest of the time, he was right on the spot with his passes.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that in my head. The first pass of the game looked like just simply slipped out of his hand because it looked like he just took a dip to the left and hit the turf. And it was simply just that, simply just slipped out of his hand right there.
Yeah, it just slipped out of his hand because I didn't know what happened. He came over just like it slipped, But the rest of the time, all of his passes were right on the money. It was a good – and, the passing game isn't just the quarterback. Yeah, that means a lot with him throwing the ball and being pinpoint. It's the route running by the receivers. And of course, the most important thing is the protection. And, our guys did a nice job of protecting for him to give him time and the ability to see what he needed to read.
Was that something that you worked on during the week leading up to? I mean, obviously, it was a little bit delayed till Monday, but was it something that you wanted to emphasize in this game, maybe open the passing game back up to make sure you guys are good for the stretch run here?
Yeah, it was something we knew we needed to work on, get better at. As you know, and everybody knows, we're a run-heavy team. But you're going to face some big boys down the road. And even in the games that we have remaining on our schedule, teams are going to come in, try to load the box and take something away from us. And if they take something away from us, we have to have something to fall back to. And we know our passing game just needs a little bit more refining. We did a nice job last year of hitting some play action passes, some big time play action passes. We haven't really had to rely on that this year. Mm-hmm. But we know it's something we want to make sure we're sharp at. So when we have to call upon it, we're ready to go.
One more highlight for you, Coach. Of course, Mainland head coach Chuck Smith with me on the Chuck Smith Show on Cape Atlantic Live. The Young Bucks got some time in the second half. Brady Cowan scoring the touchdown. Got to give him a shout out. This is a nice run by him in the second half. What did you see on this play from your Young Bucks?
Yeah, this is a great job. The JVs get their rear ends kicked all week long by the varsity. They're scout team guys. I mean, we know we all played on that side at one point or another. And, it's nice when they can get into the game and have some meaningful minutes. And it was nice that, we were able to play these guys the majority of the second half. And for them to score, I think they scored 9 points in the second half between the defense getting a safety and that touchdown by Brady. And Brady's just one of those kids that practices real hard all week, doesn't say a word, just does whatever's needed. You need a scout team running back, he's there. You need a scout team tight end, he's there. And for those guys to get out there, and they don't get a lot of reps at the plays we run. They run just a handful of what the varsity really runs. Mm-hmm. And, we put some practice time into those guys by themselves at times. And for them to get in there and execute, and they executed very well. Brady was our leading rusher in the game. He had 77 yards rushing. He had more than Stephen Ordilli in the game. And the JVs just came in and did a nice job of controlling the ball, getting first downs, keeping them off the field. And when the defense was called upon for our JV, they did a nice job of shutting them down. I think our JVs held them to 1, maybe 2 first downs in the second half. And then they got the safety also. So it was nice to see those guys get in there. And we just had our team dinner tonight, and we're giving out awards. So some of the JV guys were getting awards that usually it's just going to the varsity guys for the game. So it was nice. And the guys were really supportive. The varsity guys were really supportive of them, not only in the game, cheering them on, but also at the dinner tonight when they got their awards, really making a ruckus over it.
I felt like a freshman. I got to give him a shout out though. Lucas DiBiaso, he had that kick return, his first touch of the game, almost takes it to the house. I mean, I don't have the play up with me right now, but I got to imagine everyone was like, "Oh my God, he had one guy to beat for the end zone."
Yeah, that's welcome to varsity right there. He had that nice burst up the middle, and then it's a long run, and he's a fast little guy, but he's just not right there yet. He's a tough player. I enjoyed when I was going out and seeing the youth games last year, watching him play. For such a little guy, he plays with such passion and plays like he's 6'2", 210 pounds, and that little body really throws his body around with reckless abandon. And he's a guy that, down the road, he's going to help this football program, down the road.
Absolutely. Well, one more thing before we take a break. I was mentioning on the broadcast on Monday how you guys do go about 5 deep at running back, but it's really 6 deep because a guy who doesn't get the ball often, I believe he only has now 2 carries on the season, J.J. Sinclair, your starting middle linebacker. He'll rack up tackle after tackle, but you give him the ball once in a while, he can really run with the football. He scored a 25-yard touchdown. What was getting him into the game meaningful for the team, getting him another rep at running back?
Well, as you know, and everybody knows, Steven's been the guy back there, and at times we've put Rocco at that position at running back, and Rocco has that ability to play both positions. And JJ has practiced there all year, and he's so valuable for us on defense to be fresh, and he makes plays sideline to sideline, and it's due to that burst of energy he has, that speed, that play recognition, and flying to the football. And I promised him during practice that week that if the opportunity presented itself, that he would get some spin on offense. And believe me, he kept reminding me. And then we got him in there. And I think the whole team was just waiting to make sure that he caught the pitch. And then he really gets amped up when you call his number. Yeah. And I think everybody on the team was just so excited when he took it around the corner and scored because he's a good athlete. He's a good running back. On any other team, he's probably their starting running back, but we just have so much depth back there that we just don't need it as much. But you know what? There could be a time coming up down the road that we're going to need him to play. And, he gets plenty of reps in practice, but it's just in the games we just didn't need to rely on him. But it's something that I feel comfortable now that he's getting some time, and he'll continue to get a little bit more time as the season progresses. That when the money games come in the playoffs, that if we need to call on him, he'll step in and do the job.
If he reminded you that he needed to get a carry in that game, I'm sure he'll remind you that, say, hey, coach, I had 1 carry, 25-yard touchdown, 2 carries, and I average 50% scoring rate. So
Yeah. Believe me, I know.
All right, we're going to step aside and take a quick break. We're previewing Absegami coming up on Friday with Mainland head coach Chuck Smith on the Chuck Smith Show.
This Cape Atlantic Live production of Mainland Regional Football is brought to you by Charlie's Bar and Restaurant, The Docks Place, Orio's Bar and Grill, Shore Orthopedic, Golden Nugget Atlantic City Casino Hotel and Marina, Edmunds GovTech, Darcy Johnson Day Law Firm, and Ulmer's Appliance Service.
Welcome back to the Chuck Smith Show right here on Cape Atlantic Live. Nick Kosko alongside, of course, head coach Chuck Smith of the undefeated Mainland Mustangs. So, Coach, Absegami is coming up on Friday at 6 p.m. on the road. You guys will hit the road to Galloway. Interesting matchup right here. This is a very pass-heavy team, as they have been in recent years. They can really air it out. Just your first impressions of the Braves on film this week.
Dangerous. Watched a lot of film on them this past week, really cramming it in because I don't like to get ahead of things. I wanted to wait till the Bridgeton game was over, which always adds more angst to everything because of the delay with that game. And then you're really trying to cram stuff in. But just watching them, I mean, they really have some dudes. skill players over there. The wide receivers are very dangerous, can catch the ball, go the distance in a heartbeat on short little plays, make them go the distance. Very similar to like an Atlantic City type of team, with their skill positions. And the quarterback is very good at getting the ball out of his hand, and very accurate when he has the time to throw the ball. They're a dangerous team, and their defense isn't. It reminds me of our defense to a degree. They don't overwhelm you with their size, but they're very quick to the football. They're very fast, and flow. I mean, they really fly to the football. So, and I've watched some of their games, and they had kind of a tough one last week, but they're a team that we are not taking lightly at all, and that's one thing with high school kids. You really got to keep them grounded because, we're sitting here at 6-0, we're playing them and they have a, losing record, and you just got to keep the kids. I think one of the most important jobs as a coach is to keep the kids in focus as to what could happen, if you overlook a team and take them too lightly. And I think our kids do a good job of maintaining their focus week to week and just, really getting concentrating on that opponent and what we need to do to come out with a victory that week, and whatever happens on the field happens. But they are a dangerous team. I mean, we know we have our hands full, and especially playing out there on their new turf facility, which looks beautiful.
Right. I can only imagine the mentality of Absegami right now. Same South Jersey group as you guys, group 4. They're on the outside looking in right now in terms of the top 16. I would imagine you'd have to remind your team that this is a huge opportunity for them because they could really make a huge jump should they score, a quote-unquote upset, if you want to call it that. Yeah,
and for us too, it's our second to last division game. So win here kind of like gives us a tie for the division championship, which was one of our goals at the beginning of the season, and this is a step in that direction to win the division championship. So we know this is a very important game for us. We're not looking at it as just a game to go in there, and whatever, doesn't mean much, or any of that. It means a lot to us and for PowerPoints for us because they're a Group 4 school with a couple of wins, and hopefully they get a couple more after they play us.
No doubt. So a couple more on the upcoming game against Absegami. Kendall Armstrong, their quarterback, you talked about it before. They're very dangerous on offense, very similar to Atlantic City in terms of having a lot of athletes all over the place. They can make a lot of plays in open space. But I'm looking at his stat line this year, and when their offense is clicking, I mean, he stands back there in the pocket, and he can really, really gun down the field. I have to imagine this could be the biggest challenge for your secondary all season so far.
Yeah, it is. And, thank God we played Atlantic City already because that was kind of a little test in our secondary, knowing the Lions kid and what a great quarterback he was and the skill positions they had with Ice Cup and all that. But, you watched their first game of the season, I think it was, against Cedar Creek.
Yeah.
It was a shootout. I mean, it was back and forth. And you're like, holy God, how can you score? Both teams scored that many points. And it's just a tribute to the offensive firepower that they have. And we today was our defensive practice, and we really spent a lot of time on our game plan, focusing on their passing attack.
Absolutely. So one more for you, Coach, before we get out of here and get ready for Friday against Absegami. Looking at the schedule, Absegami is this week. Clearview after that, EHT, a rivalry game to end the regular season before the playoffs start. And right now, you guys would be in. Not looking ahead, but I am curious that some of these high schools, they do play 8 games still and then wait a week, or they have a week where they don't play in week 0. You guys have played all the way through. Was there a reason did you want to schedule it that way? Did it just happen by coincidence, or what's a 9-game schedule for you guys like? I mean, can you just not take a break, or does it allow you to just stay in rhythm? And what's it like compared to the traditional 8-game schedule in New Jersey?
Yeah, I like it because it keeps us in rhythm. I'm an offensive person. And I always, in the past, I knew when we were coming off a bye week, a lot of times it took us a half to get our wheels spinning in the right direction again. We just got out of sync, because you kind of give the guys off. You want to kind of rest and recover a little bit, let them get caught up on their schoolwork that maybe they've slacked on a little bit. And then you try to get back into the routine again, but you haven't played in like almost 2 weeks, really. I like to stay in the rhythm. I really do. I was scared to death last year because our last game of the season was canceled. The other team from Harlem that we were going to play had a COVID outbreak, and that was going into the playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. We got a bye week going into the playoffs, and we were really clicking at the time. And thank God it didn't hurt us. But I like playing straight through. I really do. Now a lot depends on your schedule too. When you have a really tough schedule, that's brutal. because injuries happen. And, guys are going to go down for a period of time, and it's tough to recover, but it's the next man up mentality, But I think the guys like it too, because everybody stays in rhythm. I think the coaches staff like it, and believe me, there's times during the season that we'll give the kids off on like a Saturday, give them a long weekend kind of thing, just to rest and recover. Certain days, if we have a long road trip or something like that, we're coming home, like we'll give them off the next day. Like after we beat Hamilton, we gave them off that next day because that was a tough physical game, and we were on the road. So instead of them having to worry about getting up early in the morning, we got home late, getting up early in the morning and turn around. We just let them sleep in, and we came in as a coaching staff a little bit later and just started working on stuff. But I like playing straight throw. That's just my preference.
No doubt. So 3 games to go for Mainland in the regular season. And first up, it's a road date with Absegami, 6 p.m. on Friday. Of course, catch the game right here on Cape Atlantic Live. Coach, appreciate the time as always. Good luck on Friday. We'll see you out there in Galloway. It's the home stretch of the regular season, and we're gearing up for the playoffs. It's a very, very exciting time right now in South Jersey.
Yeah, nothing's better than high school football this time of the year. Appreciate it, Nick. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Chuck Smith with me on the Chuck Smith Show right here on Cape Atlantic Live.